want me to do to stew for you, to see you through? It's all a dream we dreamed one afternoon long ago. Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it majorly. All right, so I'm doing this super quick because I don't have a lot of time. And, somebody mentioned this to me in the comments, made a pretty good point, and appreciate it. About a slight difference in Lori from Maui to back in Kauai, and it was that, and instantly it occurred to me, maybe that was the purpose of, which I understand, sounds absolutely bizarre. This sounds like something out of a James Bond movie, and it just sounds totally crazy, but it's obviously a crazy situation, and these things might turn out to be correct. Some of my, crazy theories that I believe, man. But I don't want to go too far and just go completely off the rails, But, a difference in the appearance of Lori in Kauai versus her Maui trip. And so it just occurred to me, like, maybe that was the reason for the 2-day jaunt or whatever it was, island hopping from Kauai over to Maui, was to basically kind of do a swap with somebody that was basically looks like Lori, and just kind of swap up the body doubles, and the person who's arrested is not Lori. I understand that sounds absolutely insane, and but a couple things, and I didn't take a lot of time to look at the pictures and stuff, but just at first glance, there are some differences, and a lot of it's in the hair, and I understand it's just hair. People grow hair, people dye hair and stuff like that, but we're talking days, So I don't know that, your color would grow out, within days, at the roots and stuff so noticeably. And it's not just that, but it's a difference in the hair altogether. Like the Lori in Kauai has a much less fuller hair for somebody like her age. I think she's 46, and the person who's basically in court and in the booking photo and in the rental car. Some reason the rental car thing, I think, is a big thing with like establishing identity and getting an ID on file. Obviously, if they're in on Hawaii Islands and they're not from there, they're going to need to rent cars. But I'm just saying. So, I mean, here is just, and I just brought up one picture of, it's just from one of Nate Eaton's reports over at East Idaho News, and this is the time where he approaches them after the vehicle had been, served a search warrant and searched, and she had been served papers and whatever. But if you compare that, just to some of the courtroom pictures of her hair, they seem to be drastically different to me. I mean, you could just tell this is a thinner person. This is a thinner, slightly older person's hair, and this is kind of fuller. It just appears that way. In this case, in the courtroom, it seemed like she intentionally has her hair pulled around to the front. So, and there's not the darkness here that there is over here and in here, and I don't know that could have grown out in just days. So, I mean, here's another picture. I'm doing this super quick. This is getting the rental car, I mean, there's like brown hair, I mean, and, obviously they dye things and stuff like that. I don't know. I agree. It's hard to say, but I think the possibility does exist. I mean, that looks like a pretty young 46-year-old there. I don't know, man. Like right there, that looks like a younger Lori than pictures of like, the video of her pushing JJ on the bike, which I don't know when that's from. That's from like, from their time in Kauai, I believe, which would be 2000, 2014 to 2016, so 3 to 5 years ago. She looks older in that video than she does there. That's for sure. I don't have it up here, but that's just life, man. But one of the things that was discussed in, I'll come back to those pictures. I understand it's difficult to tell. I'm doing this super quick because I got to roll. One of the things that is talked about in the court appearance, is the judge asks the individual why it's going to take so long. Why does she have to be held for 3 weeks if she's demanding an extradition hearing, which she is. She's demanding that the governor actually issue a warrant for her extradition, and she's demanding a hearing. And the prosecutor wants the hearing in, I think, like 3 weeks. It's now been scheduled for, I think, March 2nd, which is a little over a week from Monday, I believe. But the judge asks him, why do you need all that time? And he says that we need time to basically bring forth witnesses and have the Madison County prosecutor's office, the Rexburg Police Department, produce fingerprints for Lori Vallow that, to compare with the fingerprints of the person that's there. That's probably standard procedure. Probably, even though you visibly see that the person's right there. But I'm telling you, man, there may be actually something to that. And, my idea that they were going to the Kauai beach resort to stay there just for 2 days, just like, and her ID was on file at that Kauai beach resort, which was what led them to the Princeville community condo where they were staying, because that's the address on her ID. My ID that was basically setting up another scenario where you would have somebody that would die in the hotel room that would look exactly like the person in the ID, kind of what I believed is what happened to Charles Vallow. But the authorities stepped in before it could happen because they kind of thought it was going to happen. You're going to have another dead person on your hands, even if it's some dead person who's participating in this nonsense. So the backup plan, well, that didn't work. So go to Kauai to basically just do a swap, and the person who returns isn't Lori Vallow. I don't know, man. I mean, I can see that, dude. I mean, when you look at, there's definitely a visible difference between the hair. Her hair back there is in the back of her, but it's just not as much, And at this point, with the authorities bearing down on them and them being watched everywhere, it's not easy to modify the plan, So it's not easy as things are changing, as things are growing in, whatever. It's just not that easy. And I'm going to play this for you, because this video, but I want to kind of quickly just watch, give you a look of, this Nate Eaton report where she's approached by Nate Eaton. So you see her a little bit and compare it to the courtroom person. But in this courtroom appearance, when the prosecutor is telling the judge why he needs 3 weeks, that he needs to validate, get the fingerprints from the Madison County Prosecutor's Office, the Rexburg Police Department, as well as produce witnesses that can verify that in fact is Lori Vallow. The fingerprints thing, Chad Daybell is locked and loaded on that, and he becomes very attentive to that part of the conversation. Here, we'll just play it,
Why would it take 3 weeks to get the witnesses or other means of identification?
And the cameraman zeroes in on
We
him.
need to get fingerprints from Idaho sent here. They need to be compared in Honolulu with Hawaii fingerprints that are on file for Ms. Vallow. The results of that analysis need to be checked by another analyst in Honolulu, and then we need to bring the witnesses over here. And particularly if Your Honor is inclined to apply, we note that the rules of evidence do not apply to identification hearings, but if we are going to have to comply with those rules, then we need to make sure we actually bring the live witnesses here, and that requires coordination with a number of individuals and we have been working on that and advised them as soon as we learned this morning that Ms. Vallow intended to contest her extradition. We began making those arrangements, but we don't want to get in a situation where we commence next week and then
significant, dude. It is, and People can say whatever they want. I don't care. I don't even care if that turns out to be wrong. There's all sorts of trapdoors in this gigantic mess of a maze of what's going on. Believe me, all over the place. To make you think you're crazy and lead you down a path that makes you question yourself. But I'm way beyond that, dude. Way beyond that. So, but that's not my imagination. Chad is concerned about that. The authorities, he's saying, having it analyzed by their own analyst or, their own person in Kauai, the fingerprints. So, and just to show a little bit of this.
Along with federal agents and the Kauai Police Department, pulled Lori and Chad over. They were driving a black SUV. They pulled with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? You're over here in Hawaii? Where are your children? Yeah, why don't you just give us a comment? Just tell us where they are. Chad, where are Lori's kids? What happened to Tammy, Chad? Can you tell us what happened to Tammy? Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
So, again, just to... Heck. There you go. I don't know, man. I mean, that hair looks different to me. It does. It just looks, this looks fuller, and this one looks flatter and thinner. This person looks a little younger to me, but whatever. The lips are fatter and fuller. Whatever. Doesn't matter, believe me. Even if that turns out to be wrong, I'm doing this quickly. There's something going on, and I believe I'm absolutely, in the ballpark, and way more than that, way more than in the ballpark, I'm in the dugout, dude. All right, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.